Hit the button.
Yay. So we're recording. Hello everybody, and we're live.
Hello.
In the plain ending bit to my cowl.
Oh, how exciting.
Oh. And I feel a bit sad that I'm just doing plain knitting, but it's really fast now. So
did you use up all the pink?
I used all apart from about 2 yards of the pink.
Oh, that's good then. That's good timing. Well, I've been working on the blankie.
Let's have a looky.
Right, so I finished the cuff. I finished the cuffy bit and I folded it over. So I've picked it up and knitted them together, and I've done 2 cable twists so far.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
So it's quite nice. Quite easy knitting now, really, because it's exactly the same cable on both sides. I haven't bothered mirroring it. Couldn't be bothered. A bit lazy like that, you know.
Well,
ooh. How many stripes is that now?
It's the 20th stripe and I'm almost finished it. So
excellent.
As in the stripe, not the blankie, obviously.
No. Still got a bit of work to go on there.
So how's your day been so far?
I feel like it's been quite productive, actually. Uploaded some little clips of videos onto Instagram TV and did a bit of pattern writing, caught up on all the socials, you know, and did some washing, cleaned the kitchen, nice long walk with the dog. I was actually out and in the fields for 6 o'clock this morning.
Right.
Spoken to the husband. My mother tried to call, but she was out of luck because I was talking to him already. Yeah, been quite a productive, busy day, really, to be honest. Did my flute.
And?
I still can't play When the Saints Come Marching In.
Well, it probably takes a wee bit of practice.
The fingering is really hard. The notes that you have to go from, it's ridiculous.
Can we just add that that's the fingering on the flute for those of you with dirty minds who were going elsewhere with that, or who were thinking fingering weight?
Fingering weight yarn would have been more like it for our audience, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, let's hope so anyway.
We had the occasional mucky pup though.
Well, it's usually me though, so.
Oh, me, it's that diet of carry-on films as children.
It is, isn't it? It's ridiculous. We just grew up on it, and Frankie Howard and Benny Hill, all them, Kenny Everett, Betty Swallocks,
all of that.
We couldn't help it in the 70s and 80s, unfortunately. It was just what we were force-fed subliminally, wasn't it?
I hated On the Buses.
Oh, I couldn't watch that. It's awful.
Mike thinks it's really funny, and I just it turns my stomach that these 2 fossilised old blokes are always copping off with these really young girls who, quite frankly, wouldn't look at them unless they were billionaires.
Yeah, not bus drivers. Wasn't it like one of the guys that used to just kind of go like that or something?
Yeah, he ended up being in Last of the Summer Wine.
I can't stand that either.
I think it's become one of those things where just old actors go to die.
Honestly, my mum and dad would put flipping Last of the Summer Wine on. Even now, they'd just have it on playing constantly, and it just, like you say with the other one, turning your stomach, that one, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I can't be in the same room as it on the telly.
I think it was all right years ago, but I think the more modern episodes, they've kind of lost the plot. They haven't got the same character development or chemistry or any of that.
Weird.
I loved Foggy in it.
Was he the big tall one?
Yeah. And Compo always made me laugh. And Peter Sallis, of course, once those characters have gone, it's not the same.
Was
not the
Compo the
same
one
thing.
with the hat? Like
The,
the beanie?
the very scruffy, dirty one with the woolly hat, yeah.
Yeah. My mum and dad, right? Now this is how bizarre my mum and dad are. My mum and dad have got a picture of him framed on the wall. You just have no words for that, do you?
I don't really. I'm not really sure what to say.
It is the most bizarre thing. You go in and you see it on the wall amongst all the other portraits of people. It's like, I don't get it. What's going on?
Yeah.
No,
It's
it's
one of
bizarre.
those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
What can you say?
What can you say? You can't say anything to that. It's like a conversation stopper, actually, isn't it?
Each to their own.
So have you got a cup of tea or anything?
I've got a big mug of tea, and it's actually hot.
Ooh, go you.
My second hot drink of the day. I think all the others have gone cold.
Mine's lukewarm. Lukewarm Earl Grey, but I have my backup drink, which today is a squash, a Vimto remix, which is watermelon, strawberry, and something else that I can't remember at the moment.
Okay. I must be reacting to something because my chest's very red.
You've not been out in the sun?
No, not for any length of time.
So it's not that?
No, it's not that. It's obviously something I've eaten. I did have Weetabix for lunch. It could be that.
They're quite glutinous.
They are, but the fibre usually kind of takes the edge off. But yeah, I'm very conscious of the fact that that's bright red. I don't want to scratch it or anything.
No,
but
I don't.
It's just hot.
I used to love Weetabix.
I like Weetabix. I ate a lot of it when Jake was pregnant.
When Jake was pregnant?
Or when I was pregnant with Jake. When Jake was pregnant. Honestly, just shoot me now. My head's gone.
Have you just reinvented biology there?
Yeah, I mean, that should be in the news of the world or the Sunday Spot or something, shouldn't it? When I was pregnant with Jake, do you know, brain dead.
And also thanks to me for picking it up.
Well, you know, I wouldn't have let it go either. So, you know, you give it, you've got to take it, haven't you?
I'm going to take that one as a
I've
win.
just had my head in websites all day and answering questions. And then as soon as I got onto Facebook, I had a barrage of people going, they won't let me asking questions about the council's vulnerable list and things like that. Well, I can't really help with that. I can just advise you to talk to your GP and appeal it. But if they say that you're not on the list,
yeah,
you're kind of not on the list. And what we view as vulnerable isn't necessarily what they do. I did get some news this week about one of the radiographers at Furness General Hospital, our local hospital, has sadly died of the virus. And I'm looking at him thinking, he looks vaguely familiar. Where do I know? And it just said the first name. And then I did a bit more reading down and thought, hang on a minute. I used to go out with his younger brother when I was 16.
Wow.
And I haven't seen him since then. But I remember that as an older brother, he was very friendly and very kind and tolerant of this gobby 16-year-old that used to visit the house.
Oh, it's a small world, isn't it?
I remember him studying and, you know, backwards and forwards to uni and things like that.
Yeah. It's a crazy world, I tell you.
I know.
Well, it's lovely and sunny here, but absolutely bitterly cold. I had to put a coat on to fill the car up with petrol.
Yeah, it's the same here. It's perishing cold. In fact, I'm sat here thinking, should I get my blankie down and put it over my feet? Because my feet are like blocks of ice.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Maybe I should be worried, menopausal woman with cold feet.
Yeah, but when your feet get cold, that's it. They just will not warm back up again, will they? That's the problem.
I have to find Mary's socks that she made me and put those on because they always work.
Yeah, good decent pair of handmade socks. You can't beat them.
Yeah, absolutely can't.
Oh dear, excuse me. Oh, I'm yawning. I had a really decent night's sleep again.
Yeah, I went to bed about 10, I suppose, when Coco made me go to bed.
Did she kick you out, did she?
Yeah, and then apparently Jake came downstairs and sat down here drinking vodka and coke because there's a quarter of a bottle, a small bottle, not a
Not a
litre,
huge one, yeah.
a small bottle of Glen's vodka, which must be Aldi or something similar, and a bottle of coke that wasn't downstairs previously. And I'm thinking, well, why did you come down here to drink and watch telly? He's got a telly twice the size of this thing in his bedroom, and he's got the Amazon Fire Stick, and
it's a bit weird,
he's got the Netflix, and he's got the Disney Plus. So what's he coming downstairs for? So whether he was just being super loud, or whether it was a case of he wanted to actually sit up, because most of the time he just slonks in bed while he's playing video games. I don't know.
Callum sits up to his desktop computer to play games, so
it's healthier, isn't it?
Yeah, he's always sat up.
Lays back in bed with his head propped up, and I keep going, you're going to end up with blood clots or something.
Do you know I said that to Caitlin? Because she never goes anywhere or does anything. She just sits in her bed all day long. But apparently, according to Caitlin, she dances in her bedroom at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, there's no witnesses to that, is there? Unless it's on YouTube.
Well, she sometimes puts TikToks on, but she usually does a full hair and makeup, proper old cosplay for that. So I don't know. Bizarre. It's just kids. So anyway, Callum was up till 4 o'clock this morning, I think it was, when I heard him cleaning his teeth and going to bed. And then, like I said, I was up and out and in the fields at 6, walking the dog. So this morning, when it got to about, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock, felt like the middle of the day for me. So I was like, right, it's perfect time to play my flute. And if anybody's still asleep, I do not care.
Well, it's not your problem, is it?
It's not my problem.
That's right. It's one of the few times I enjoy hoovering if somebody's been noisy during the night.
Yeah, but I'd rather play my flute than get that machine out because, you know, that's cleaning.
Yeah, it is effort.
Yeah.
It is enjoyable effort, though, if you're annoying someone.
If you're annoying someone, for definite. Yeah.
So, you know, it's got its plus sides. So I had a Zoom chat this morning with the ladies from our colour analysis group. So that was quite good to see everybody. And it's interesting that as awful as I kind of look when I look in the mirror here, because I've got this whacking great cold sore coming, and so I keep in control of, and I feel a bit blotchy and a bit tired.
Yeah.
I'd put sort of the right colour top on and stuff, and someone asked me what colour lipstick I was wearing. It was a really nice even nude, and I'm thinking, I haven't got any lipstick on, I've got any makeup on at all. But my skin looked clear and even and settled. So it had obviously done the trick. So it just sort of reminded me as to why I'd started reading up and learning in the first place. So yeah, it was quite funny.
Well, that's handy, isn't it?
Yeah, but we were talking about ways to make it easier online and stuff like that through Zoom, and I think others are a bit less confident with the tech.
Yeah. It must be really scary if you're not somebody who likes doing that sort of thing or is used to even using it in your everyday life, and then all of a sudden everyone's having to get used to it.
Well, I think the first time I went live on Facebook that wasn't in my own private group that I just practiced stuff in, it connected on me 3 times and dropped me 3 times on my phone, and then it wouldn't work. And then I went onto the laptop and I finally got connected. And honestly, I was on the point of tears because it was just so freaking difficult, and it didn't need to be. It just needed to do what it says on the tin and work as advertised.
Yeah.
All it all needed to do. And I wasn't using Zoom, I wasn't using any third party, it was just a Facebook Live. And by the time I got to the end of the 3 minutes I was sort of mandated to do as part of this particular challenge, I was thinking, God, this is actually dead easy, isn't it? It's just a bit of waffle. That's fine. And I wasn't nervous again. But I'd wound myself up like a top. I really had. You know, super tense.
It can be quite daunting, like you say, can't it?
Well, a lot of people aren't used to it, and I'm used to public speaking. So So for me, it's probably a little bit easier because it's not intimidating that there's either lots or none or one. it's it's just pretend you're talking to one person and get on with it and don't
It's
worry about
usually
it.
that Emma Jane Sadler, isn't it?
Oh yeah, she's definitely a super fan. Might have to just report her to the police,
I think so, yeah. Stalker.
Yeah, he's stalking
That's
stuff.
what Tim Minchin says. Love without evidence is stalking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite funny. So I was watching Have I Got News for You last night, just some of the old ones, and it's quite funny how it's just funny how everything was all Brexit, wasn't it? And now suddenly it's not anymore. Nobody cares about Brexit anymore. And then Harry and Meghan, and up until today, they haven't been mentioned in the news for goodness knows how long. Back in it again today, sending out their stupid letters.
Oh, well.
It's like nobody cares. Why are they still trying to do these stupid things?
I don't know. In defence regarding mail campaigny kind of stuff, a lot of it's booked months ahead, and we did get a leaflet, although we shouldn't have done because it should have gone out in Tim Farron's constituency. It shouldn't have come here.
Right.
But there was a bit in it about the Police and Crime Commissioner election where I was the candidate. So I'm guessing that's why they covered my area. But Royal Mail would not let them cancel it.
That's stupid. You'd think
it was a case of, well, you've booked it, you've ordered it, we've organised the resource. And this poor postie said, I could really have done without this. And I'm thinking, yeah, but your bosses want the money, don't they?
Yeah, you would have thought that at a time like this that they don't want their staff out doing a mail drop like that.
Well, this is it. And Tim got something like a 20% spike in increase of calls with people going, why have you sent me a leaflet now? And he said, well, they won't let us cancel it. And I'm really sorry, but we've paid for the printing, we've paid for them to distribute it, and they won't let us delay it. They're forcing us to send it out. We've got no choice or control over it. It is what it is.
In which case,
so I wonder how much of what's going on is because of that, or whether they're just idiots. They could just be idiots.
Who are just idiots?
Anybody sending out campaigny type leaflets.
Oh, right, yeah.
Unless it's related to the NHS or PPE.
Well,
people really are. They've got other worries to think about.
Was that plane even gone yet? Because they keep saying it's due like yesterday, then it's due today, then it's due this afternoon, and I just don't understand what's going on. Is that actually a plane? I'm
not absolutely certain. I'm unconvinced at this stage.
I know, it's like, Del Boy MOTs in the post.
Well, and I think what frustrates me more is that they could have actually engaged more with the manufacturing industry and said, how can you help us? Who's got plastics, or who's able to do machining, or who could do this? I mean, there's a company off their own bat invested so many thousands of their grant in machinery to make plastic gowns for PPE. Now that's cost them a fortune to do. Now they'll make the money back, but they've used their grant to fund that.
To do it,
so why isn't there an additional grant for manufacturing that allows them to get the necessary equipment to be able to help in this fight? Because we all know that there's going to be a second wave of this pandemic.
We do, yeah.
And depending on how bad that is, the rest of the world's going to be scrambling for PPE, and we need a manufacturing base in this country.
Well, there was one company on the news this morning that said that they'd offered to do, all the PPE and that, but they haven't heard back from the government yet.
Well, yeah, and that's even worse, isn't it? There's a lot of companies who've offered and are just sat in limbo waiting, and there are others who've just thought, oh, stuff this, we're just going to make it to the specifications and sell it and contact health trusts and nursing homes directly, and they've been doing that.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have to.
They shouldn't have to. They shouldn't.
If we put an appeal out to say, can you help produce this in the UK, and somebody puts their hand up, someone else has got to get in touch and sort it out.
What I don't understand is, okay, so we're all in lockdown apparently, and I think it's at the moment it's the right thing to do in that. And they're talking about, don't know if they'll be able to come out and second wave and all the rest of it. But from my understanding, this COVID-19 as a coronavirus, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a vaccine, because another coronavirus is the common cold. And nobody's ever been able to find anything other than, like, you know, take a decongestant or whatever to dry your nose up and help you carry on until your body can fight it off. In which case, what the hell are we going to do?
Well, I mean, it could take 18 months to get any kind of even remotely effective vaccine. The other issue is at this point in time, we know that people can be reinfected.
Yeah.
But we haven't got a clear picture as to how that's occurring.
What's occurring?
Yeah. As to how that's happening, and how long you've actually got. Because if your window of immunity is 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, then should we be extending isolation for people who've had it, like our vicar's had it, and she's now been told that she's got to avoid other people for 12 weeks.
Right.
But if she'd had immunity and we'd been on the ball and been testing and taking plasma from these patients who've recovered, then we might have had the basis of some kind of therapy, immune therapy, which could help other people recover who might not otherwise have recovered by using some of their antibodies in that brief window. You know, but we're quite happy, and I don't like using footballers as an example because they're not the only wealthy people in the country. There are lots of people like Richard Branson who live abroad and earn money from this country and don't pay a bean in tax, who avoid tax the world over, who quite frankly could be funding this. But, you know, someone asked, I think was it Spain or somewhere like that, or Portugal, they had a go at this young lady scientist and said, why haven't you come up with a vaccine? Why haven't you come up with a cure? And she said, well, apart from the fact that I'm on 18,000 a year, which is piss all.
Yeah, for training.
She said, no, why don't you go to Cristiano Ronaldo, who's on so many million a year, and ask him to do it? Because he's got the funding to fund the lab and the people and the resources that we need. She said, unless you actually pay for this stuff to happen, it's never going to happen. So what are you going to fund? Are you going to fund football and wealthy people? I mean, Branson apparently is trying to claim furlough money.
Yeah, he is. And he says that if the government doesn't help him, then Virgin Atlantic's going to go under.
Well, then maybe it should be allowed to go under.
Considering he's the one that many moons ago was talking about how companies, if they can't cut it in the real world, shouldn't be saved and they should be allowed to go under.
Well, yeah.
He's
maybe
actually
he should be allowed to go under.
Yeah.
And then we should be taking him to a court for the pension shortfall.
Oh, I bet there will be, yeah.
No, these companies have got shareholders.
Yeah.
And they should be funding the costs of furlough.
I'm not sure why everyone is so convinced and so confident that there is definitely going to be a vaccine.
I'm not convinced there is, and that's the problem.
I'm not.
And if we are not prepared for the next one, it's going to be worse.
And who's to say that we're ever, like they keep going on about getting back to normal. Who's to say that this isn't normal from now on? Who's to say that we can ever fully go back to the way that we were?
I think it'll take quite some time. But I've said that from the start.
Yeah.
So
it was never going to be 3 weeks, though, let's be honest.
Oh, goodness, no. 3 weeks. But when you announce something like that and you give people that glimmer of hope, there's less, because policing here is essentially by consent.
It is, yeah.
And
Well,
I don't understand these people in the US who are complaining about the loss of their liberty. Well, yeah, you can have freedom, but you're choosing the freedom to die an early death in agony.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I shall crochet or knit or write patterns or do web work or stuff like that at home where it's safe and only venture out when I've got to.
Yeah, exactly. For the foreseeable, for definite. It's
Yeah,
just,
for
honestly, I
sure.
don't understand it. I really just do not understand. But, well, I've always been the kind of person that's been quite happy not to be out and about anyway. Maybe it's these people that are struggling with social isolation. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
Don't know. I mean, there's always going to be people who can't stand their own company, but whose fault is that?
Exactly.
Change your own attitude if you're struggling with it. But don't expect everyone else to fix it.
I know. And you do get used to a new different eventually. It is hard in the beginning, but eventually you do get used to stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was faffing about today.
Yeah.
And I managed to do my workout this morning. Oh, but my goodness. Bits and aches and all the rest of it that I never knew I had before.
That's
Muscles
good
I didn't
though.
know were there.
That is
We got
good.
we've got Louise in the house today and Deborah. Lovely to see you, ladies.
We'll have a house party.
Yeah. Bit of a knit, bit of a crochet, or cross stitch, or whatever your bag is, really.
Caitlin does cross stitch.
Does she?
Yeah.
I used to, but then I hurt my neck, and it's just uncomfortable now.
I think I put all mine up in the loft. I had some really nice Winnie the Pooh ones that I made the kids when they were little.
All
I think
right.
they've all gone up in the loft, all framed and lovely. They used to have them up in the nursery. But do you know when they've outgrown them and you don't know where to put them, but you don't want to get rid of them?
Yeah.
So they all ended up in the loft. I have an urge to go looking in the loft for my clarinet now. I'm going to have my own orchestra, aren't I, by the end?
Right.
Caitlin plays a bit of piano. I keep telling her I'll get some books and she can accompany me.
Well, it's no point having talent in the house and not using it.
Exactly. Just make the most of it. Have you seen Andrew Lloyd Webber's channel, Composer in Isolation? It's brilliant. It really makes me laugh.
I haven't been watching it, but you were telling us about it yesterday.
Was I? Oh, it's funny.
Lin-Manuel Miranda song.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah.
Totes lost the plot.
He totally did. It was brilliant.
Oh, bless him.
So I was thinking I might watch a movie tonight. I haven't watched a movie for ages.
No, I watched The Witcher the other evening, just because.
Just because, yeah.
I'm still working my way through the Marvel spaghetti order.
Excellent.
And I am up to Captain America Winter Soldier. I think.
I quite like that one.
Yeah, I quite like that one.
I do like the Captain America ones.
I think the only one on the list that I've not watched before, or chosen not to watch this time, I didn't want to watch Hulk again. I watched some of Iron Man 2, I watched most of Iron Man 3, I watched Thor the Dark World. I haven't rewatched Guardians 1 and 2.
You haven't? They are my absolute favourites.
I like to watch those separately, so I'm not going to watch them in this
order.
Oh,
but
I'm on Captain America Winter Soldier, and then I'm going to do Avengers Age of Ultron. Spider-Man Homecoming I've not watched.
I think I saw that at the cinema with Callum. If it's the one where Paris gets destroyed.
I don't know. He's a sweet little lad, isn't he?
He's so funny. He talks about 6 times faster than anybody else in the world. He is brilliant. I do like it. Callum was like, if I was sitting at home, I'd be fast forwarding this. crying out loud. He's got no patience.
I can understand it. There are some things I do fast forward.
He doesn't like the soppy bits. So obviously, because he fancies that girl and he's trying to get to go out with her, and he's yeah, he's not into that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, each to their own.
It's teenage boys, they're not really into much romance, I suppose, are they?
Yeah, has anybody binge watching stuff at the moment? Have you got a good recommend that's good for knitting and crochet? Have we got anything?
Yeah, I could do with a recommendation.
Thinks would be fun.
What was the last series I watched? Was the very last season of The Big Bang Theory.
All right, did it make you cry?
It did make me cry. I was beside myself. Oh, actually, and then after that, I watched The Tiger King, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm still avoiding watching that. And Jake says he's not going to watch it.
I would not. I'd say after having watched it, I'd say it's not really worth it. I would say if you like that sort of thing, maybe watch Making a Murderer, because that absolutely has me in bits, absolutely sobbing at that one.
I don't want anything that makes me sad at the minute.
Oh, it's awful. Have you ever watched Making a Murderer?
I think I have.
With the 16-year-old Brendan, where they drag a false confession out of a kid with a low IQ and a learning difficulty, and he's clearly autistic, and they make him make up a story, and then they put him in prison for murder for the rest of his life. Honestly, because the way that he behaves, the mannerisms of him and everything just remind me so much of Callum that it breaks my heart to watch it.
Yeah, I couldn't watch that because I'd want to fix that.
Oh, honestly.
I'd be all fired up to set off a legal challenge and really be a complete and utter pain in the backside.
Well, yeah.
To whoever was stopping justice.
Flipping loads of them. It is just unbelievable. When Phil came home just before Christmas, so he came home, I think it was like the 19th or something, and we went away on the Friday night to go and do park run. So it was around about the 20th, and we not long got to the hotel, and then this tweet came out because he'd been asking for clemency. He'd applied for clemency, right? And in his letter, this is a 30-year-old man, and in his letter to the governor, he included a picture that he'd coloured in and said, oh, I hope you enjoy this picture, and I hope it brightens your day, and, you know, I hope you have all the best. It's just like a really, really young person's kind of letter that they would write, you know, as if they were 7 or 8. And he'd written this and applied for clemency. Obviously, his lawyers had done the proper legal stuff. Well, 4 or 5 days before Christmas, the answer come back, no clemency. You've got another 30 years in prison.
It's just fundamentally wrong, isn't it?
Honestly, it ruined the whole weekend for me. When I saw this tweet come, when I literally just got to the hotel, ruined the whole weekend. How could you do that to someone just before Christmas?
How could you do that to someone where there's even a suspicion that they've been wrongly convicted?
Oh, it's awful. And also, at one point, he was hours away from being released, and he'd given all his stuff away to the other prisoners, and somebody came and blocked his release. And that was 3 years ago now. He was 16 when he went to prison, and he's nearly 31 now.
That's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
So yeah, but Tiger King was just trash, basically. I wouldn't tell anyone to watch it, not at all. But I was telling you to watch Life on Mars yesterday.
Yeah, still not got to it.
Well, you've got a lot on. You've got a spaghetti order and all sorts to do.
I've got some mutton in the slow cooker.
Ooh, sounds nice.
Cooking away for tonight's dinner with some casserole vegetables and probably mashed potato and gravy.
Oh, I just love mashed potato.
Or roasties, if Jake fancies roasties.
Mm. So there, Callum always prefers roasties, and I prefer mash.
Right.
But roasties are easier because I don't even bother peeling them.
Well, I don't, because the fibre is good for you.
Exactly. Whereas with mashed potato, you have to peel them. Some people use potatoes that are unpeeled in their mash. I don't like it personally.
I'd be one of those people.
Do you keep the skin on?
Yeah.
Oh no, I prefer to have the skin off in mash.
Well, you have the opportunity to pick it out, but yeah, I'll keep it in my mash for the fibre.
No, that's just wrong. Sorry, Lorraine, that's wrong.
I do struggle with mash. I have to have gravy on it, because otherwise I just want sort of half a pound of butter.
That is the only problem. We do put a lot of butter in. Although actually I put milk in as well in mine.
Oh, I beat an egg and mix that into my mash.
Oh, very nice.
And that makes it creamy and rich and unctuous, but with a lot less fat and...
Well, that's what I think about the milk. I think the milk must have a lot less fat and calories and that than the butter does.
Yeah.
My dad, I'll never forget, when we were growing up, my mum was in and out of hospital in one particular period for different things. And this one time she was in, and he decided to make mashed potato, bless him, right? So he boiled up the potatoes, and then he didn't drain them off. He just mashed them in with the water. Well, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know, I suppose, do you?
Somebody made me a cup of tea once, and I went to get a drink later in the day, and the tea bags were in the kettle.
Oh,
well,
dear.
If you don't know,
you don't know. We say it all the time. You only know if you know.
Yeah.
So, can you see
we're on the stone colour now?
Oh, very nice. It's getting lighter. Can you see my dog wog?
No.
See on the bed behind me. Do you see that big loungy?
Oh, is that what I thought? It was a dark pillow.
It's the dog. He's absolutely comatose over there. Bless him. I got him up early, didn't I?
Oh.
I was up and I was getting dressed, and he was laid on the bed, and he's kind of watching me and making these funny noises like, what are you doing? Go back to bed. It's too early. It's a hard life, isn't it?
It is a bit of a hard life, but you know.
I do. It
could be worse.
It could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse. Oh yeah. So do you think you will end up going shopping tonight then?
Have to be tonight or first thing tomorrow, because I want to get it out the way.
Yeah. I'm going to go tomorrow evening. We are on the dregs. We had bacon, eggs, hash browns and baked beans for lunch.
I don't know if we've got any baked beans left, to be honest. Jake had some the other day with loads of cheese. We're running out of cheese.
Right.
Soft spready cheese, but not hard cheddar, because he's been wolfing that like there's no tomorrow. He's eaten 1 kilo in a week.
Is he like my kids when you say to them, can you take it easy on the food because it's got to last, and instead of having 4 eggs, could you maybe have 3 eggs, and then they just completely disregard everything that you say? Yeah,
it's like with the milk. It's his milk. It's up to him to tell me when it's running out. I'll make a decision to buy some himself when he's in a shop that's got some, but not a dicky bird. So now he's drinking my milk.
Have you got like a little shop in walking distance, like a little paper shop or something that you could send him to?
Well, I could walk, but it would take me a couple of hours there and back.
All right, so there's no way you can send him and say, right, go and get yourself some flipping milk. and leave mine alone?
No, not really. I would have to
Mm.
take him or go myself, in which case, if I'm going to take the car out, I might as well go to Barrow and go to a bigger supermarket and get more of what I need rather than just a handful of what I need.
And then have to
And
go
I
out
do
again.
usually shop at Aldi.
Right.
And he's decided that he's having one of my lattes or whatever a day. So instead of being stocked up for 3 months, I'm now stocked up for a matter of weeks.
Oh no.
Someone else is working his way through my stash. But it's fine. Bought it to have it, but
I think it's a little bit rude.
we need a pile of bars of chocolate. We need milk. We need cheese. I need to get some reduced fat cheddar.
Right.
Because he won't eat that. And that'll be for me then.
I don't think you can taste the difference, can you?
It's when you melt it, it's a bit rubbery and
Right.
it's not as melty.
Like the vegan cheese is disgusting when you put it on pizza
frosty.
and stuff.
Just a sec. I think it's the frosty.
I didn't have the post today. I'm still waiting for my DVD to come. Good job I'm not holding my breath. I'd have passed out by now. It's very, very disappointing. Just want to watch my movie. Should we have a little flash? Nobody there. Anybody watching? Ooh, flashy flash. Blanket's coming along nicely. It's going to go that way. And the baby. Beautiful.
It was the postie.
Did he have something nice for you?
Oh, that is.
Hmm?
That looks like a bill.
My postie hasn't come
That's
today.
my needle.
Oh, those are exactly the same as what I got.
Yeah.
They're fab.
Oh, yeah. I was joking with him about washed flax and whatnot. He says it's worse than Christmas at the moment. It's crazy.
Well, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
What have you got there?
Got a packet missing.
They're what?
That's supposed to be 6 packets, but there's 5. But they're 15. Yeah, it's my allergy tablets.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's supposed to be 6 packets, but there's 5. But to be honest, they're that cheap. I'm really not that minded.
It's possible
They're still half the price of anywhere else, even with the delivery. And then there's my nasal spray.
Yeah. Dip Pro something or other.
Beclometazone dipropionate 200 meter sprays, and for nasal use only. I'm not sure where else you would be putting it, to be honest.
I wouldn't like to imagine where some people might be putting that.
Yeah, but that's fine. I always give them a positive review because they're really fast on delivery. There's no hassle at all. And
Cool.
the prices are excellent.
The price is right. Come on down.
Pharmacy First, I think it is the one I ordered from.
Right.
Yeah, it was from a recommendation from Martin Lewis, the money
Oh,
fella.
yeah, I like him. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like 30 of these tablets. I
Yeah.
can get 6 packets, and it's £2.79 including postage. Now, if I hadn't put the nasal sprays into the cart, I wouldn't have paid any postage. But
Right.
I need those before I need these. These are just in case. And it makes sense to order it all at once and only order twice a year.
Yeah.
So I've paid postage where I wouldn't normally. But if they're just sending these out, then all they send you is the strips and the advice sheet, and then they flatten the boxes in case you want to put them back into the boxes, and then it goes into just a small letter.
Makes sense.
So they're really good about the packaging and stuff. I mean, they've obviously not bothered stripping them out today because I've got other stuff and it needed to be in a larger envelope. Always very pleased. And it was nice to see our Posty. He looks tired.
I bet he is, bless him.
Yeah, I'm excited to have a go with these. And
they're fab, I like them.
And see if I can. I was joking with Emma, where I've got this cold sore now is actually where trying to sew buttons onto those little mask mates that I made the other week, the crochet mask mates for the NHS and for our GP practice. You put a button on each side and it sits at the back of the head, and the elastic from the mask then attaches to the button rather than crippling someone's ears and tearing them off. But of course you then have to put these 1/2 inch to 1 inch buttons on, and the yarn's quite thick, and Emma suggested these. But what I managed to do with my thinner needle was tugging it through on the second run through the button where it's really tight because you've got 2 lots of yarn and the working yarn, and I'm tugging, and I stabbed myself in the lip.
Which isn't very clever.
Yeah, not the brightest, Emma.
Well, it's not about being bright. It was just, one of those things that could have happened to any of us, I think.
I'm just clumsy. But yeah, these look like they'll be really good. And I love that it's got this sort of elasticy bit at the top that you can flatten down and pull the yarn through rather than a great big hoiky eye. Where's my big needle? Well, it's not the biggest one that I use, but you can you see how big the eye is? And then when you've got yarn, it'll hardly go through any button.
Especially on the second go round.
Yeah. And you do need to go through a couple of times, don't you?
Just to make sure, yeah, for definite.
So that's taken. When did I order those?
Last weekend.
Yeah,
was it around Easter weekend?
After the Easter weekend, so I don't know, maybe a week in working days, which given how overwhelmed the post office are at the moment, I think that's fantastic.
Whereas I am still waiting for my Jesus Christ Superstar DVD, which I ordered a week ago on Sunday, and it's still not here. I think we're just not used to it, are we? We're not used to waiting anymore.
We're used to instant, and that's the problem.
Or tomorrow, today or tomorrow, I want an instant
someone has
download.
To have stock, and you have to have a delivery network that's healthy.
Well, I think one of the reasons why the posties are so busy, the Amazon seem to be just putting everything in the post rather than delivering it themselves now, don't they?
Yeah, but I noticed my dad ordered a Fire Stick. The internet's gone on their smart telly; it won't reconnect. Right. And it's spoiling his brain. I dare say Colin and I will be able to connect it, but my father can't.
Yeah.
So we figured the best thing to do would be for him to order a Fire Stick, because then he gets the Alexa remote, and my mother can just press the button with the microphone thing at the top and say, Alexa, launch Netflix, launch Disney Plus, or whatever she wants Alexa to do, without having to faff with all of these extra remotes and stuff. And that will save her a lot of time. Now, my dad's been reluctant because he thinks it listens to you all day and all night. Well, it only does if you switch it on in the background. And it's only got a certain amount of memory or caching or buffering that it can hold on to. And seriously, they're in the 70s. They're not former super spies or anything like that. They don't work for the government. How much confidential stuff can they be discussing, slagging off the telly and saying, oh goodness, he looks old?
Well, I think the whole point with Amazon was that Alexa is listening to you, but not to find out, state secrets. It's trying to flog you stuff, listens to what you talk. And actually, Vicky, who was making the rainbow yesterday, we were traveling up to Scotland together one time, right? And no word of a lie, she was talking about something and, oh yeah, that sounds quite good. I'd quite like to buy one of those. She opened Facebook and the advert was there for what she's been
Facebook
talking about.
Tracking you. But
it was Amazon as well, though. It was through Amazon. And so they listen. They must listen, because all she'd done was mention it in a conversation and it was immediately there. Very
possibly. I mean, they have been used in murder cases.
Right.
where they've been able to go back several days, and it's recorded murders.
Wow.
So, you know, it's not all bad.
I mean, I'm not bothered with this whole, oh, they're looking at my emails and they're following my calls and all the rest of it. If the government wants to look at what I'm emailing people, they can dig out, you know. I've got nothing in there that's of any bother whatsoever. But I do object to companies using my data to try and sell me stuff. I don't like that. I understand why they do it. It makes good sense for them. I completely understand that.
Yeah, but what I was getting to with the Alexa thing and the Fire Stick is it won't arrive until the 5th of May.
Wow.
And it's because it's deemed to not be a priority delivery. So certain products are priorities and certain ones are not. I think if my dad phoned and said, you know, or emailed them and said, look, my wife is virtually blind, it's for her to be able to navigate the TV and decide what she wants to effectively listen to. Rather, she can watch some of it, she can see some things, she can get a gist of what's going on. And then they would probably up the priority and move it up the delivery queue. But to be honest, I said, you know, you should have ordered this last year. You've ordered it now. Like it and lump it. It doesn't matter. And the number of people who've ordered stuff from Slimming World over the Easter weekend, and they're going, well, only got it this week. And so they've only got so many people they can fit in the small warehouse that they've got to process the orders. They haven't done online ordering for people like me who are in a group and usually buy off our consultant before.
Yeah.
So they've had to 100x their capacity in very restrictive circumstances. And everybody's in that situation. I mean, Wool Warehouse is saying 3 to 5 days. At one point, it was 10 days. And people were still going on Facebook and going, oh, I ordered and I paid, but it's not come yet. And I just think, grow up. You know, you're at home. That probably means 30% of their workforce is at home as well.
Yeah, you're the lucky one that doesn't have to go out to work. I mean, I put in that order at Love Knitting on a Sunday, and I think it arrived on the Wednesday, I believe it was.
That's brilliant.
I have no complaints about that whatsoever. I think anything within a week is unbelievable at the moment, to be fair.
Well, yeah, and I'm not really worried how long it takes for stuff to arrive, as long as it arrives. I mean, I sent some parcels, second class, recorded to some people who bought some stuff for me on eBay, and I've hidden all my other listings because I don't want the faff. And I don't want them worrying about how long it's going to take to get their rider. I'd rather just it's obscure yarns and odd stuff. It's not sell 20 a week things. It's once a year kind of orders. So I've taken those off. But one parcel did take 10 days to arrive.
Right.
But it was a flaming big parcel. She's chuffed to bits with it. She's really happy. I'm chuffed it arrived. And it went through. I can't believe it went through as a small parcel. I think it should have been a medium parcel. But it was under the 2 kilos. They measured it, they weighed it, they said small parcel. Who am I to argue? So I've paid £4 something with recorded delivery.
That's all right.
And I get they don't get a signature, but at least you can track its process through the system. But I think at the moment they're doing an amazing job. Really unsung heroes.
Yeah, really are. Although I would still quite
drivers
like
and
my
couriers. No, I mean, Jake ordered some stuff and it came by courier this morning, and the girls are smiley and chatty as ever. And you just think, how many of these have you got to do today? 96 deliveries you've got to get through.
That's a lot.
In a rural area, that's really quite hard.
Yeah. And I don't think that the roads are any quieter, personally, after having been out this afternoon. I wouldn't have said there was any difference in the roads. All I would notice that there's like 20 times as many people walking.
Yeah, there's a lot more people walking. There's people out walking I've never ever seen before.
Yeah. And you'll never ever see again.
Probably not. You know, and that's fine. They're keeping themselves amused. They're not doing anybody any harm.
Well, if everybody comes out of it a little bit healthier because they've taken an extra walk a day that they wouldn't normally have done,
Well, I
You
think
know?
that's why my mum's generation are as long lived as they are compared to the predecessors, because of rationing.
Yeah.
Because you got what was healthy and you didn't get anything more.
There was none of this sugar and stuff, was there?
Oh, sugar was at an absolute premium. You didn't
Yeah.
get a sweet tooth because you didn't really get the chance. And it's no wonder they all went mad once rationing stopped and they could buy anything they wanted. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, they were probably at the healthiest they've ever been. And I've done my workout again today.
Well
I did
done,
a
you.
walking workout today rather than a body weight one that I did yesterday. I'll do a body weight one again tomorrow. Everything aches.
You know that it's working though. That's the good thing. I
Well,
did
yeah,
a
and the walking workout, which was just a walk and talk. I
right.
jogged it round
Oh,
the
that's
living
good.
room while she talked, and I felt fine. And it actually eased some of the aches in my legs and my
I think
butt.
sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah, so I've kept things moving. Tomorrow it'll be down to the harder work and probably a walk after that. But
I
yeah,
did a 4 kilometre walk with the dog this morning,
right.
and that's all I've done today. But tomorrow I'll do the same. Plus, I'll make myself go on the treadmill for a little while.
Yeah.
I'll just tell myself I'll only do like 1 or 2K, and then I'll tend to stay on for longer anyway. It's just the
What do
getting
you
on there.
want? And what is it about Coco? She hears you and she's like, oh.
Oh, because she knows that I'm a nice person. Dogs are a good judge of character, you know.
Oh, do you love your Emmy Woo? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. So look, I've done 3 cablies now.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's coming on nicely. I think it'll grow quite quickly being a chunky on 6 mils.
It should grow fairly quickly, shouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's about time for my afternoon tea and toast
Yeah.
before I have my porridge this evening.
Well, I'm going to have a quick flash around of where
Let's
I've got
have a flash. Where have you got to?
just drop the crochet hook.
Oops. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's getting there. On the second repeat now. Very early on in the second repeat, but yeah.
We need some special flashing music that we play when we flash.
Yeah, absolutely do, don't we?
Like flash. Ah, do you like my knitting? Yeah, something, but not quite that bad.
Yeah. No, it's sort of slow going this one, but I seem to have been busy with tech stuff and geek things, and my head's been in a different place.
Well, you know,
I'm learning a lot, so you know, it's all good.
it's all good.
Right, so we'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.
Bye. So stop live stream.